The Bible says, children, obey your parents, for it is right. Obey your parents. We know that there are parents who are terrible parents, and obedience to them would mean doing something illegal, unethical, and immoral, and even dangerous. However, we're speaking about children who are just rebelling against their parents, rebelling against your parents, threatening to call the cops on your parents if your parents disciplines you and all of that, threatening to call the cops just for anything, maybe even attacking your parents and calling the police on your parents. And so your parents, they're walking around fearful. But I always say, parents, pray over your children and ask God for directives and what to do. And make the tough decisions that you may have to make as parents. It is hard because we love our children, don't we? But sometimes you're going to have to make decisions. You may have to tell them no. You may have to, ground them, discipline them. And, we're living in times in a society where children can call the cops on you and say, I'm going to call the cops. I told my children, you better not ever do that. We haven't had any incidents like that. And I believe that we have a peaceful home. I love on them. But, that's just one of the things. I'm like, if you call the cops, you need to go with them. That's just something I've told my children. We've seen things online and things that's going on. And I give them my take on it. Because, I know I'm not abusive. I know we have a loving environment, a loving home. I do my best to really enforce where my children can really express to me how they feel. I listen to them. But we're not going to cross the lines where there's going to be disrespect. And they're children who are threatening their parents. And I want to ask you this. When your parents go to jail, if your parents go to prison, or your parent get arrested and they lose their job, who's going to pay those bills? Who's going to keep those lights on? Who's going to buy you your clothes? Maybe you may think your boyfriend or girlfriend or the people that you're hanging with right now. But it's easy for people to be your friend and easy for you guys to get along so long as you go back home to your own house. So long as you can still continue to give them what they want or be as exciting as they want you to be. Children, be careful. You're going through these phases and things of that nature, and your parents may seem like they're the worst person. And again, I'm not talking about children where you're in situations where you're being emotionally, verbally, physically abused and all these things. And at the same time, I'm not telling you it's okay to disrespect your parents either. There are times even those parents who are the worst, they're still your parents. So even though you may have to maybe report them, or you get older and you're not as close, you have to set boundaries. There's nothing wrong with that. But don't go cursing your parents out and trying to kill your parents and do things of that nature. Because as I said before, sometimes you have to respect the position as parents, but it does not mean that you bow down to maybe the toxic behaviors that they have. But they're still your mom and your dad. So let's make it clear. I'm not telling you to go out there and curse your parents out or do anything like that. But there's some of you're just being rebellious against your mom and your dad. You don't want to listen. You want to do what you want to do. You don't want to listen to their instructions. You don't want to listen to what they're telling you to do, and you're making threats. And I'm going to say, so if your mom or dad, your parents, they lose their job, it's Child Protective Services starts coming in. Or let's talk about them losing their job. Who's going to take care of you? Your boyfriend? You think you and your boyfriend or you and your girlfriend going to just take over the family house? Your name's not on that deed. You're a child. You're going to be the one driving the car. You're going to be the one making the payments. You're going to be the one buying food. Even if you go out there and get a job right now, you cannot maintain and carry the weight that your parent carries. And what happened? You're still a minor. You keep calling the cops on your parents. What if your parents just decide to just put you in foster care? Just let go of you. Just relinquish their relationship with you. You know that your parents have the ability to do that if they wanted to. If you're a threat and you become a threat to your family, they can make a lot of decisions and you are not going to be able to do nothing but maybe run away. But your parents, if they want to, you want to call the cops on your parents can call the cops on you. Over and over again, and enough calls on you would mean that now they have the right to put you in some sort of a juvenile center. And if that parent wants to, they can go and sit down with a lawyer and figure out how to relinquish their parental rights, because they have enough on you to show that you are a problem to society and turn you over to the state until you turn 18 years old. Or you have some parents that will just pack their bags in the night and just drive off and leave you. You know your parent have that ability, right? But they choose not to. A parent can literally do that. Or turn the tables on you and lie on you, like some of you are doing, and call the cops on you all the time, until eventually they say, we fear for our lives, take this person out of here. And when they take you out, now they have the ability to go to the courts as an adult with power over you, because you're not 18 years old. Say, I think this person, I want to put them in the care of the state. Y'all do what you can. We are in danger. You know your parents could do that? Why do you think they haven't done it? Why do you think that they are just choosing to continue to have conversations with you, and they're tolerating you doing all these things and crying and pleading with you? Because they love you. You calling the police on your parents, it's like you cutting off your nose to spite your face. Threatening your parent with a cop, and your parents lose their business, and your parents lose their money. You may feel good about it, but you're going to suffer too. Or you feel you can go and move away and run away and go live with whoever. Go on and live with them and see how life really is. Children, obey your parents. When you have parents who really care about you, and they're telling you things for your own good, and they're telling you need to do the things you need to do to be responsible, don't fight against them. Don't fight against them. You're setting up your life for a lot of torment and pain, because the seeds that you sow when you do things wrong is going to set you on a path. The Bible says, obey your parents that your days may be long. And there's some parents who take that, they use that statement to scare their children, but there is some truth in it, provided it's not abused, they're not abusing you or doing things wrong to you and then trying to use that as their leverage to treat you badly. But when you do wrong things to your parents, it really sets you up for failure. You end up, if you really think about it, when you're rebelling against your parents and you're doing really mean and hateful things to them, you're going to draw a certain crowd. You're going to draw people who have a certain mindset like you do. And you guys are going to lead each other down a destructive path. Even if you guys are cool, you'll always, when you do wrong things and you hurt your parents, you're making your parents cry, you're making them worry, you've called the police, you've done things that's getting more and more wicked, it opens up and sets you up to receive it. And a lot of times you'll be somewhere where you can lose your life, where you can lose your freedom, where you can be permanently disabled. And when it's all said and done, and all your friends and everybody has had their fill and done what they want to do to you, you're going to come back home to your parents. You want to go back home to them, even as an adult. Even as adults, children can still go back home to their parents, to good parents. So stop what you're doing. Sometimes, my grandmother used to say, if you can't hear, you will feel. You can't hear? You will feel. If you cannot listen, then you will feel. That means what do they call it? A hard head makes a soft behind. That's pretty much what they're saying. Follow the rules of your parents. Do what you need to do. Eventually you'll be an adult. You can go out there and make your own decisions and your choices. But when you're at home and you're threatening your mom and dad and you're going to call the cops, I'm one of them parents that I'll be like, go ahead and call them. Call them. And the minute first of all, when they come, I'll be explaining myself quite well to them. But the minute handcuffs have been put on me over some children, then you will figure out what you're going to do while mom is gone or while dad is gone. You're going to figure out how you may be able to eat what's left in the cabinet, but guess what? If there's no adults in the house, you can't even stay there by yourself. And if you are an adult living with your parents and giving them a hard time, you need to get your own place. Because you may be able to stay there, but you don't have anything to maintain that house on your own. And a lot of times, parents, when you have an adult child, we were talking about minors, but you have an adult child in your home, just carrying on, if they have that much, if they got that much, they got the S on their chest and all of that, then they can get their own place. But let me stay in the minor circle. That's what I'm talking about right now. Obey your parents. Go to school. If you're really focused on your books and your lessons and the things that you need to do, time will go by just that quickly. But when you have parents who love you and who are caring for you, don't do things like trying to threaten them. Because really, if they call your bluff, you're going to be the one that's going to suffer. And if your parents were doing what you are doing right now and choosing to just go off, and so don't play those games with your parents. When you have parents who truly love you and who truly care for you and who are not going down that road to destroy you and to get you back, just obey them. Just do what's right. Just do what is right. And for those of you who have horrible parents, I pray that you will have the strength to just focus and do the things that you need to do and get the help that you need to get and the interventions that you can get as best as you can. And just realize trouble is not going to last always. And eventually you will be on your own. And everything that's happened to you, don't take it as, oh, well, now you can do it back to other people. But through healing and counsel and prayer, you'll become a better person, and you'll know all the things not to do should you become a parent or be in a marriage eventually in life. All right, guys. Peace.